Hello? Yeah, no, I'm about to do it right now. I'll let him know. Okay, bye. That was my manager. He just wants you to like, share, and subscribe, and make a comment on what your favorite Pokemon is from this set. Whether it's an illustration rare, or whatever you think. Today we're opening up 45 packs from the new set Chaos Rising. Very excited about this. It might take a while, so we might open it two different ways. I like to read each card, but I know that takes a long time. Getting into a new set, I think it is important to explore each card and find new strategies, and it's always fun to read flavor text and Pokedex entry. And talk about different strategies. So this is Goomy. This is an HP of 60 dragon type. It's a basic. We see Lumio City in the background, which seems to be a theme of the new set. This is number 704. Let's get this here. This is number 704. Soft. What does that say? Soft tissue Pokemon. It's got Absorb, which is a water and a psychic for 30 damage. It says heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. No weakness, no resistance because it's a dragon type. Retreat of 2. And the Pokedex entry says, thanks to the shiny membrane covering its body, patches or punches or kicks from its enemies slide right off. Illustration by Asake Dynamic. J-Block CRI English 066 out of 086 common. So that's how I normally like to do it. I know that takes a long time to read through each card, so we don't have to do that, but I do like to explore the new cards. It is a little difficult to read them from here. It's just so far away. But we can keep going with that for at least a little bit. I know this is not a big set, so there's not that much to explore in it. This is Phantom. It's a basic. As we see here, Lumio City is being destroyed, which is really unfortunate. It makes me pretty sad that Lumio City is not in existence anymore. It was one of my favorite locations in the Pokemon universe. So definitely like a little bit disturbing that it's gone now. But we move on. HP of 70, Psychic type, number 708 in the Pokedex. Stump Pokemon. Height 1'4", weight 15.4 pounds. It's got the ability Spiteful Evolution. It says once during your turn, you may use this ability. Choose a card in your hand that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto this Pokemon to evolve it. If you do, place 2 damage counters on the Pokemon you evolved in this way. You can't use this ability during your first turn. Interesting. I think one of my opponents during pre-release used it during his first turn, but it's okay. But you can use it on the turn afterwards, and you can do it immediately afterwards. Attack is Mumble for Psychic Energy, does 10 damage, Weakness to Darkness times 2, Resistance to Fighting -30, and a Retreat for 2. Pokedex entry, I don't know if I can get this to focus anymore. Pokedex entry says, according to Old Tales, these Pokemon are stumps possessed by the spirits of children who died while lost in the forest. So that's why I like reading the Pokedex entry, because it actually is very deep and much less childlike, and it's more mature than you think. Illustration by Taga Kasai. J-Block CRI, so that's Chaos Rising, English 038 out of 086 common. Alright, we got a Froakie. This Froakie seems pretty good. This Froakie is a basic HP of 70 water type, number 656 in the Pokedex. It is a Bubble Frog Pokemon, height 1 feet, weight 15.4 pounds. It's got the attack collect, which is one of any type. It says draw a card, so I like that attack. It gives you card advantage. Second attack is water gun. For water energy does 10 damage. Weakness to lightning ×2, no resistance, retreat for 1. Pokedex entry says it protects its skin by covering its body in delicate bubbles. Beneath its happy-go-lucky air, it keeps a watchful eye on its surroundings. Illustration by Kariya. J-Block, Chaos Rising English, 020 out of 086, common. Sorry, my cats are getting into boxes now that I'm starting a video. Stunky. I didn't know Stunky was in this set, so that's why we like going through these things. This is a basic HP of 70 dark type, really cute artwork here. Very vibrant. It is number 434 in the Pokedex. Skunk Pokemon, height 1 foot 4 inches, weight 42.3 pounds. It's got the attack Scratch. For dark energy does 20 damage. Weakness to fighting ×2, no resistance, retreat for 2. Pokedex entry says the foul fluid from its rear is so revolting that it can make people feel queasy up to 1.25 miles away. Illustration by Nobuhiro Amogawa. J-Block, Chaos Rising English, 053 out of 086, common. A Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo is a basic. It's HP of 110. It's a fighting type or rock type since it has weakness to grass down here. Pretty fun piece of artwork. I like the it's nice illustration here. This number is 185 in the Pokedex. Intimidation Pokemon, height 311, weight 83.8 pounds. His first attack is Trails and Tripulations. For one of any type, is a search your deck for up to 2 Transformation Tomb cards. Reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So we don't know what Transformation Tomb cards are yet, but I'm sure we will find them as we go through these packs. Second attack is Rock Hurl. For fighting energy, it does 30 damage. It says this attack isn't affected by resistance. So we see that clause a lot in fighting types because fighting types are, I think, have psychics have resistance to them. So getting the damage through a psychic type is pretty important. Weakness to grass, so it's a rock type, no resistance, retreat for 1. Pokedex entry says, to avoid being attacked, it does nothing but mimic a tree. It hates water and flees from rain. Illustration Goto Minori. J-Block, CRI English, 043 out of 086, uncommon. So I'm really liking the smaller sets. They're much easier to collect. They're maybe a little bit boring when you open them because you see the same cards all the time, but they're so much easier to collect. And sets are coming out so frequently these days that I don't mind seeing smaller sets. So Roxy's Performance. This is pretty cool. This is a supporter, it's a trainer, and it says, during your opponent's next turn, the poisoned Pokemon can't retreat. This includes newly poisoned Pokemon. So that is a great clause because you usually don't want your opponent's poisoned Pokemon to retreat because they recover from their poison. So if you can keep them active, it keeps the poison going and you keep on rocking. But supporter rule is you may play only 1 supporter card during your turn. Illustration by Nobusawa Mochi Puyo. I've never seen that artist yet. J-Block, Chaos Rising English, 081 out of 086, uncommon. Delibird. So they have a new build and battle option on the Pokemon TCG app that you can play, and it's really fun. I really actually enjoy it. I wish they would add more things like that, like small tournaments and different options besides just grinding on the ladder all the time. So the build and battle option gives you a 40 card deck of the 4 different build and battles that came out for the set. And I didn't open my packs. That's where all these packs are from, except from all the pre-releases I did. but now that I'm forced to open them in the game before I play, it's nice to find different cards that you can add to the decks to make them a little bit better and work a little bit more. So this is one of those cards that I've been putting in my decks, at least for the fire type and the lightning type, which is Ampharos and what's the other one? I don't remember it off the top of my head, but we'll read Delibird and all. It helps get you there. Delibird is a basic HP of 90 water type or ice type because of the metal weakness down here. Really beautiful illustration. I love the cityscape in the background, and it's a nice childlike drawing. Children's book type art style. Really fun. This is number 225 in the Pokedex. Delivery Pokemon. Height 2'11", weight 35.3 pounds. Its first attack is Pleasing Present. For one of any type, it says no damage, but it says each player may attach up to 3 basic energy cards from their hand to their Pokemon any way they like. Your opponent does this first. So you hope that your opponent doesn't have all 3. If they do, it's really not that big a deal in limited formats. But the decks that need the extra energy, it really helps. So like Delphox is the fire type. Delphox loves having extra energy on the bench. If your opponent plays a bunch of energy, that's great for you, it doesn't matter. And then the other deck that really needs it is the Ampharos deck, because you need extra energy to retreat. So I like this card. I add it to those 2 decks on the build and battle option in Pokemon Live right now. Second attack is Flap. For 2 of any type, it does 40 damage. Weakness to metal ×2, no resistance, retreat for 1. The Pokedex entry says it carries food rolled up in its tail. It has a habit of sharing food with people lost in the mountains. Illustration by Saboteri. J-Block, Chaos Rising English, 018 and 086 uncommon. It's also nice when you fight against fire type decks because you have the Flap, which can do 80 damage for 2, so it doesn't go to waste. Next card is Claydol. Claydol is a stage 1. It evolves from Baltoy. This is HP of 120, fighting type, rock type, ground type because of the grass weakness down here. It's a pretty interesting piece of artwork. Don't get to see Claydol in action too often. Number 344 in the Pokedex. Claydol Pokemon. Height 4'11", weight 238.1 pounds. Pretty big, pretty heavy. The attack is Devolution Ray, which is a fighting energy for 50 damage. It says if your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolved Pokemon, devolve it by putting the highest stage evolution card on it into your opponent's hand. I love those effects. I think they're really strong. We're missing that in standard right now. Technical Machine Devolution has been rotated out, so my deck that I was playing with kind of died when that happened. And the evolution of the format kind of prevents me from doing my thing anymore. But I like this card. I don't think you're building too many decks around it, but maybe you do at some point. Weakness to grass ×2, no resistance, retreat for 2. Pokedex entry says, this mysterious Pokemon started life as an ancient clay figure made over 20,000 years ago. Wow. Illustration Oswaldo Cato. J-Block, Chaos Rising English, 047 out of 086 uncommon. Alright, next card is Goodra. Pudding, stop please. Goodra is a stage 2. It evolves from Sliggoo. It's HP of 160, dragon type. Its number is 706 in the Pokedex. Dragon Pokemon, height 6'7", weight 331.8 pounds. It's got the ability Sliming Sliding. It says when your opponent's active Pokemon retreats, your opponent flips a coin. If tails, energy for its retreat cost is not discarded, and they don't switch Pokemon, the effect of Slimy Sliding doesn't stack. So it doesn't seem like it's a super strong ability, but I actually won a game on the Build and Battle online the other day because somebody tried to retreat with their free retreater and the trigger triggered and they flipped a tails and they couldn't retreat, and I was able to take an extra prize because they didn't do anything. So it does pop up here and there. I think it pops up much more randomly, but it might be stronger than I think. It might be stronger than, you know, it appears to be, because you end up being like, well, I need to, you know, look at the top card of my deck for my draw. I'm going to put my free retreater in the active. I'm going to put something that I want to retreat in the active. And then you end up not being able to retreat and you lose a turn. So it does come into play here and there. Dragon Pulse is the attack. It's a water energy and a psychic energy for 160 damage. So I really like this attack. I think it's amazing. It says discard the top card of your deck. In dragon decks, a lot of the time that doesn't even matter. Most of the dragons are discarded something anyways to do that much damage. And discarding the top of your deck, as long as you have a deck, it shouldn't matter. You know, you can usually get the cards back pretty easily, and putting that much damage output for 2 energy is a lot. This might be something that I add to my Dragon GLC deck instead of the Goodra I'm playing currently, just because it does a little bit more damage and it's pretty good. Weakness to nothing, because it's a dragon, no resistance, and a retreat for 3. So it's a big retreat cost, but it shouldn't matter. You want it in the active and attacking. And what's great about Slimy Slidings is it can be on the bench. You know, it doesn't have to be in the active. It says, I thought it had to be in the active for some reason when I read it the first time, but when I played it online, it was on the bench, and my opponent tried to retreat, and it triggered. So it's great. It doesn't have to be in the active. Pokedex entry says, this very friendly dragon Pokemon will hug its beloved trainer, leaving that trainer covered in sticky slime. Illustration by Tanji Matsuno. J-Block, Chaos Rising English, 068 out of 086, rare. Oh, Crocodile EX. Crocodile EX is a stage 2. It evolves from Crocorock. It's an HP of 320. It's a dark type. It's got the attack corner, which is a dark energy and 1 of any type for 80 damage. It says during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. It's okay. It's a big corner, so you know there definitely can be that type of stall deck where you're just like, can't retreat. Nothing you do, you can't retreat. Strong Bite is 2 dark energy and 1 of any type for 140 plus. It says if this Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached, that's pretty easy. This attack does 140 more damage, so you're doing 280 with a Pokemon tool attached. It's pretty good. Weakness to Grass times 2, no resistance, and a retreat for 3. It's okay because you want them in the active attacking. Pokemon EX rule says when your Pokemon EX is knocked out, your opponent takes 2 prize cards. Illustration by 5-band graphics. iBlock, Chaos Rising English, 055 out of 086, double rare. You know what's weird about Crocorock? I don't know too much of this set right now. I can grab my my little checklist and check for sure, but I don't think there is a Crocorock or a Sandile in this deck. I think it's just the random Crocodile EX, which is super bizarre, and a Grass energy. And we'll keep those codes because we like to send them to our clients. Speaking of which, if you are interested in purchasing Pokemon cards, I have an eBay page where I am a top seller on eBay. I've been a top seller for a long time, and I do great work, and my clients really love my packaging and my letters that I write them when they buy stuff. So if you're in the market for Pokemon stuff, I highly recommend checking out my eBay page. You can find that in my YouTube biography. So if you're interested and want to look at some stuff that I put up, each Sunday I put up an auction. Everything I put up is 99 cents. So you could be getting, you know, $5 cards for 99 cents if nobody buys them or if nobody else bids on them. So it's a really great deal, and I highly recommend it. Okay, so that was the first pack. You know, that takes a while to do. So you can let me know if you prefer me to read each card and explain everything to you, or you would rather just have me rip them. I think for the first 86 cards, we're just going to be talking about them because we haven't seen any of these cards, and I think it's important to look through stuff. Alright, Patrat. This is a basic, it's an HP of 70, it's a normal type. Its number is 504 in the Pokedex. It's a scout Pokemon. As you can see, Lumia City is really getting messed up here in the background. So sad. I love Lumia City, or Prism Tower. Height is 1 foot 8 inches. Weight is 25.6 pounds. It's got the ability Watchful Eye. It says damage counters on each Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, can't be moved to other Pokemon. So this is a card that is printed for Monkey Dory nonsense that's going on in Standard right now. In the build and battles, you can add this to your deck if you're facing up against the Delphox deck, because they can use Ninetales to move damage counters from their bench Pokemon onto your actives, so this prevents that. I'm sure this comes up in a few other instances through the Standard format, but primarily this is going to be played against Monkey Dory decks and such of those, things of those nature. Which is good. I like it. I need this format needs it for sure. Monkey Dory is too prevalent right now still. Attack is Bite for one of any type, does 10 damage. Weakness to Fighting times 2, no resistance, retreat for 1. Pokedex entry says, using food stored in cheek pouches, they can keep watch for days. They use their tails to communicate with others. Illustration is Soichiro Gonjima. J Black, Chaos Rising English, 070 out of 086, common. Bergmite, this is a basic, HP of 80, water type or ice type because of the weakness to metal down here. It looks like it's inside some type of building. It's pretty like a museum or something. Number 712 in the Pokedex, Ice Chunk Pokemon, height 3'3", weight 219.4 pounds. Whoa, that's a heavy little guy. First attack is Chilly for water energy, does 10 damage. Second attack is Frost Breath for water energy and 2 energy, does 50 damage. Weakness to metal times 2, no resistance, retreat for 2. Pokedex entry says it blocks opponents' attacks with the ice that shields its body. If the ice breaks, this Pokemon uses cold air to quickly create new ice. Illustration, Anasake Dynamic. J Block, Chaos Rising English, 023 out of 086, common. Matang, this is pretty cool artwork. I love the shadow and highlight it has on Matang, looks really nice. This is stage 1, evolves from Beldum, HP of 100, metal type. The number is 375 in the Pokedex. Iron Claw Pokemon, height 3'11", weight 446.4 pounds. The attack is Metal Claw for metal energy, does 30 damage. Second attack is Guard Press for 2 metal energy and 1 of any type, does 70 damage. And it says, during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks, after applying weakness and resistance. Weakness to fire times 2, resistance to grass minus 30, and a retreat for 2. Pokedex entry says, it is formed by 2 Beldum joining together. Its steel body won't be scratched if it collides with a jet. Illustration by Kazumato Yasukuni. J Block, Chaos Rising English, 060 out of 086, common. Alright, Golbat. This is a stage 1, evolves from Zubat, HP of 80, dark type. This is number 42 in the Pokedex, Bat Pokemon, height 5'3", weight 121.3 pounds. It's got Covert Flight, which is a dark energy for 30 damage. It says, during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. Weakness to lightning times 2, resistance to fighting minus 30, and retreat for 1. Pokedex entry says it loves to drink other creatures' blood. It's said that if it finds others of its kind going hungry, it sometimes shares the blood it's gathered. Interesting. Illustration by Moshol. J Block, Chaos Rising English, 050 out of 086, common. I like reading the Pokedex entries because they are just darker than the game seems to be, right? This game seems very like geared towards younger children, but when you dig deeper into it, it is, you know, darker and more mature than what it appears to be on the surface. Tauros, basic, HP of 130, normal type, is a beautiful Tauros piece of artwork. I love the realism in it. It's very nice. There's no black outlines. It looks so good. This is number 128 in the Pokedex, Wild Bull Pokemon. Height 4'7", weight 194.9 pounds. The attack is target together. For 2 of any type, it does no damage, but it says choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and flip a coin for each of your Pokemon in play that has Tauros in its name. This attack does 50 damage to the chosen Pokemon for each heads. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, so you can choose something on the bench. That's sick. That's really good. There's actually probably a pretty strong Tauros deck right now because there's a couple good ones, and there's a variety of colors now. You can choose a fighting type, normal type, fire type, water type. There's a lot of options right now for Tauros, so I think there's definitely a Tauros deck available. Weakness to fighting ×2, no resistance, retreat for 2. Pokedex entry says they fight each other by locking horns. The herd's protectors take pride in their battle-scarred horns. Illustration by Sotoshi Ito. J-Block, Chaos Rising English, 069 out of 086 uncommon. I'm a Tauros, so I love Tauros. I just had my birthday, 33 years old now. Garbodor Stage 1 evolves from Trubbish, HP of 140, dark type. This is pretty fun artwork. This is number 596 in the Pokedex. Trash Heap Pokemon, height 6'3", weight 236.6 pounds. I love this piece of artwork. This is by, Ogo Nakasuki. They make fantastic art. Their shadow and lighting is so nice. They don't use black outlines. They don't use white outlines. They just make nice artwork. I really like their stuff. Ability, Gloomy Garbage. This says, attacks used by your opponent's active Pokemon that has a Pokemon tool attached to 20 less damage before applying weakness and resistance. Not everything is playing tools right now. There's not a lot of tools that are being played right now. There's just not. Sludge Bomb, 2 dark energy and 1 of any type for 100 damage. That's pretty good. Weakness to fighting ×2, no resistance, retreat for 3. Pokedex entry says, consuming garbage makes new kinds of poison, gases, and liquids inside their bodies. Illustration by Hayo Gonosuke. J-Block, Chaos Rising English, 057 out of 086 uncommon. Yeah, they make such nice artwork though. I think it's beautiful. Very beautiful. Okay, Delibird, we've read it, so we don't need to read it again. We can appreciate the artwork and move on. Metagross, this is stage 2, evolves from Tang. It's HP of 180, metal type. Number 376 in the Pokedex, Iron Leg Pokemon, height 5'3", weight 1,212.5 pounds. It's a big boy. Attack is Bounce Back for metal energy, does 60 damage. It says switch your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. Your opponent chooses the new active. Those are fine. Sometimes they suck and sometimes they're good, but a lot of times they're not that good. Metallic Hammer for 3 metal energy and 1 of any type. It does 150 plus. It says you may discard 3 metal energy from this Pokemon and have this attack do 150 more damage. Okay, that is sick. That is actually really good. Because there's a Metang that lets you look at the top 4 cards of your deck and attach as many metal energy from them as you want to your Pokemon in any way you like. So you could technically attack for 0, right? You could attack for free, basically. You could discard all 3 of those metal energy and get them back, because metal decks love getting their metal energy back from the discard pile. So you throw a Brave Bangle on here, and now you're doing 330 damage to any EX. That's amazing. Weakness to fire ×2, resistance to grass -30, and retreat for 3. The Pokedex entry says, Metang's combined to form it. Oh, Matang's combined to form it. It's so hard to read these. With 4... I can't even read it. It's so hard to read. Let me see if I can read it from here. With 4 brains, it has the intelligence of a supercomputer. Yeah, these are so hard to read. Illustration, Bun Tojo. J Black, Chaos Rising, English 061 and a 068. Uncommon. I'm definitely going to make a Metagross deck. That seems awesome. Alright, Deoxys. So I think there's 3 or 4 Deoxyses in here, which makes sense because there's 3 different Deoxys forms. I think this is the worst of them, but this one, I tried it in Build and Battle and it's just too slow. So this is a basic Deoxys, HP of 130, Psychic type. It's number 386 in the Pokemon, DNA Pokemon. Height of 5'7", weight 134 pounds. Its attack is Psi Protection for 2 Psychic Energy and 1 of any type. It does 80 damage. And it says, during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from Pokemon that have an ability. I like it, but it's just a little slow. Weakness to Dark ×2, resistance to fighting -30, and retreat for 3. Brutal retreat cost for a basic. I don't think I can read that from here. Let me see if I can. An alien virus that, let's see, an alien virus that fell to Earth on a meteor underwent a DNA mutation to become this Pokemon. Interesting. Illustration, Gozan, J Black, Chaos Rising, English 033 out of 086, uncommon. And Delphox. This is an amazingly strong card. Delphox is a stage 2, evolves from what is it? Braixen. HP of 160, fire type. This is number 655 in the Pokedex. Fox Pokemon. Height 4'11", weight 86 pounds. It's a really beautiful piece of artwork. I love Delphox. I think Delphox is so cool. I'm surprised. I didn't know it was just a fox Pokemon. I thought it was like a magician Pokemon or something, but it's sick. I love Delphox. Super cool. Ability is Flaring Magic. Says once during your turn, you may discard a basic fire energy card from your hand in order to use this ability. Draw cards until you have 7 cards in your hand. So you can have your last card being a fire energy, you discard it, and you draw a brand new hand of 7. It's broken. I don't know why they made this deck so strong for the build and battles, because it's just completely unfair. But beating it feels good, and it doesn't happen very often, but it feels really good. Energized Storm is 2 fire energy for 30 times. It says this attack does 30 damage for each energy attached to all Pokemon. So my Pokemon, your Pokemon, everybody's Pokemon. I'm doing 30 for each. It has no cap, so you can do as many damages as you want. It's an incredible Pokemon. I hope we see some standard play with this. I'm sure you could see GLC play with this, but gosh, it is a strong Pokemon, and you can use Flaring Magic up to 4 times if you have 4 Delphoxes out on the bench, or out in play. It's so good. Weakness to Water ×2, no resistance, retreat for 2. Pokedex entry says, using Psychic Power, it gathers a fiery vortex of 5,400 degrees Fahrenheit, incinerating foes swept into the whirl of flame. Illustration, Jemmy. They make pretty good art. J Block, Chaos Rising, English 013 out of 086, rare. Amazing. I think Delphox is freaking amazing. So broken. You're just like, I'll draw 7. I'll do this and do that and Ultra Ball my hand away and draw 7 more. And I'll do it again. So good. Stupid good. So good. Alright. We might not even be able to finish all 45 packs. This is going to take an hour and a half. 25 days it's going to take. Bergmite, we read. We know. Minkino, here we go. It's a basic HP of 70, normal type. This is number 572 in the Pokedex. Chinchilla Pokemon. Height 1'4", weight 12.8 pounds. I think this is really cute artwork. I'm not a big fan of the white outlines. I just don't like them. I think it distracts from the background. And it distracts from the Pokemon. Like, they're separate, so it just doesn't look that good to me. Attack is takedown for one of any type, does 30 damage. It says this Pokemon also does 10 damage to itself. Weakness to fighting ×2, no resistance, retreat for 1. Pokedex entry says these Pokemon like things neat and tidy. They are always sweeping and dusting their habitat, using their tails as brooms. Illustration, Ryoma Ratsuka. J-Block Chaos Rising English 072 at a 086 common. Litleo, that's cute. Litleo's out in the Safari Desert. Basic HP of 70, fire type. This is number 667 in the Pokedex. Lion Cub Pokemon, height 2 feet, weight 29.8 pounds. It's got the attack tackle, which is one of any type for 10 damage. It's got weakness to water ×2, no resistance, retreat for 1. Pokedex entry says they set off on their own from their pride and live by themselves to become stronger. These hot-blooded Pokemon are quick to fight. Illustration, Mina Nakai. Oh wow, she's getting a little doing something there with her artwork. That's nice. I like her artwork a lot. Often, she makes really nice artwork. This is not her. She doesn't always make artwork like this. That's nice. J-Block Chaos Rising English 014 out of 086 common. Alright, Golbat we read, so we don't need to. That's the great thing about reading them. You don't need to read them twice. Meowstic, stage 1, evolves from Esper, HP of 100, psychic type. This is a crazy looking Esper. This is number 678 in the Pokedex. Constraint Pokemon. Eyes are glowing. Height 2 feet, weight 18.7 pounds. It's got the attack Tricky Steps for a psychic energy and one of any type. It does 80 damage, and it says you may move an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to one of their benched Pokemon. It's a really strong attack. Can really mess up certain decks. You know, putting it all on something that you can't really attack with is huge. This is actually in one of the build-in battles. This is in the Gudra build-in battle, and it's strong. I've won a game with this bad boy. It's really, really strong. Weakness to Dark ×2, resistance to fighting -30, retreat for 1. Pokedex entry says, when in danger, it raises its ears and releases enough psychic power to grind a 10-ton truck into dust. Illustration, Mingo, J-Block, Chaos Rising English, 037 out of 086, uncommon. I like Tricky Steps. It doesn't always work. There's a lot of decks that can do, and there's a couple decks that can move energy around. A lot of decks can attack with everything, but in the right matchup, it can be tricky. Okay, so this is the chase card of the set. For all those players out there who are they just need hand disruption. This is called Special Red Card. It's a trainer, it's an item, and it says you can use this card only if your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards remaining. It says your opponent shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. If they put any cards on the bottom of their deck in this way, they draw 3 cards. So amazing, you know, it's an Iono, but an item that you can only use after your opponent takes 3 prizes, which is when you want to hand disrupt them anyways. So, you know, it's a perfect card for what it needs to do, and we're going to see every single standard deck playing this. It's going to be amazing, you know, and it's good. I don't really care for hand disruption that much. I mean, it's necessary. The more I play Pokemon, the more I see that it is useful and it is necessary. I just don't really care for it too much. I think it's kind of like a waste of time a lot of the time, but it can help. I mean, it is good and it is painful. Item rule is you can play any number of item cards during your turn. Illustration by Studio Bora Inc. J-Block Chaos Rising English 082 out of 086 uncommon. And the more I play Pokemon, the more I know that hand disruption is a big part of it, because you have no maximum hand size in the game, so you can have 20 freaking cards in your hand, and there's decks that like Alakazam, which I struggle with playing against with my deck, where I'm just like, I don't have a way of dealing with it cleanly. Zero-6 Machination stinks. You have it in your hand for the whole game, you never really get to use it. So special red card will be great. You know, it's an item. As long as you're not item locked, you can use it, which is fantastic. I think it's good. We read Garbodor. We don't need to read it again. Wimpod. This is a basic HP of 70 water type. This is number 767 in the Pokedex. Turntail Pokemon. It's a fun looking Wimpod. And they gave it a white outline around the Pokemon, but it's in water, so you can't really tell. Height 1 foot 8 inches, weight 26.5 pounds. It's got the attack Gnaw for water energy, does 10 damage. Corkscrew Punch, which is 2 of any type, does 20 damage. Weakness to lightning times 2, no resistance, retreat for 2. I don't know if I'll be able to read that Pokedex entry. It's so hard to read with this lighting and the way this shines back at me. This is illustration by 0313. J Block Chaos Rising English 025 out of 086 Uncommon. And Keldeo. This is one of the promos you could pick up from Hot Topic. If you went to Hot Topic, congrats. I hope you got your promo. I decided not to go to Hot Topic because they're two hours away from where I live in New York, and it just doesn't seem just such a chancy chance, right? You go to Hot Topic, like, we don't even have it anymore. We're out of Pokemon stuff. You're like, okay. I got the Ho-Ho GameStop one, so that's dope. Keldeo is a basic HP of 110 water type. This is number 647 in the Pokedex. Cult Pokemon. Height 4'7", weight 106.9 pounds. It's got the attack Shoot Through, which is a water energy for 20 damage. It says this attack also does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance for bench Pokemon. I think Shoot Through is weak. It's not going to do you no good. You know, unless you're playing Pat Rat in your deck. The energy's bouncing right back with a Monkey Dory. I think this card really stinks. The second attack is Reflect Energy. It's 2 water energy for 70 damage. It says move an energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. So I don't see a place in standard for this. I don't see a GLC deck that's screaming that it wants it in here. I see this more as like a casual deck that me and my girlfriend will play with because Keldeo's cute and it's strong basic in the right format, but this is not the right format for this card. Weakness lightning times 2, no resistance, retreat for 1. I don't think I'll be able to read that dark blue on black on dark blue Pokedex entry, unfortunately. Illustration by Mitsuhiro Arita. J Block Chaos Rising English 019 at 086 rare. It's a good rare for certain formats, you know, like very weak formats. You have to have like a really weak format that you created yourself where you're just like, all the Pokemon are bad. So this one seems really good. Chestnut. Stage 2 evolves from Quilladin, HP of 180, grass type, number 652 in the Pokedex, spiky armor Pokemon. Height 5'3", weight 198.4 pounds. Ability Needly Armor. It says, if this Pokemon is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, even if this Pokemon is knocked out, place 3 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. So that is incredibly strong with Meganium from Mega Evolution, you know, because it doubles your grass energy. So every single grass energy is counting for double. So you're doing so much damage that you're probably knocking things out when they attack into you. And this is a single prizer, so this deck is going to be so annoying to play against. I guarantee it. I'm probably going to build it because right now I'm playing a grass deck that I'm not happy with, but Chestnut seems to be the new Emperor's New Groove, I'll be honest with you. It seems really strong. You know, if you had 3 energy to attack with it and did 160 and they're like, okay, attack back into you, like, okay, 90 more. It's like, okay. Seems good. I don't know. That's Needly Armor seems insane. The fact that you're going to be playing 4 Chestnuts in your deck or being able to basically use it as your main attacker every single time. You're going to be taking that Needly Armor every single time you attack, so things are going to just get knocked out. It's very strong. I think Needly Armor is very strong. The attack is Impound, which is 2 grass and 1 of any type for 160 damage. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. Oh god, this card is so strong. This card is so strong. So you impound them. They're forced to attack into this. God. And then they take the Needly Armor ability. That is so freaking strong. And it's a single prizer. My goodness, that's insane. And there's Force of Vitality, so you can just evolve it on your second turn. It's broken. Weakness to fire ×2, no resistance to retreat for 4. This is such a strong card. I can't wait to play with this card. This card is so good. Pokedex entry. It tackles is forceful enough to flip a 50-ton truck. It shields its allies from danger with its own body. Illustration Uta. J-Block, Chaos Rising, English, 007 out of 086 rare. I hope we pull a couple more of these. Can't wait to build that deck. That's a strong deck. Alright, well that's 3 packs. You know, it took us 45 minutes to get through that. We have 42 more packs to go, so I mean we can open 2 more real quick, maybe, in the allotted amount of time that we have. I don't think I want to push this video over an hour, so we're gonna have to come back and maybe I'll open these up privately or we'll do more videos. You let me know if you like these type of videos where I talk about everything and explain them. I really do. It really helps me understand the set, understand the way cards work. I love exploring the Pokedex. It really feels like I get connected to the game. When I just flip through 10 cards and look for a rare, it's pretty disappointing and frustrating. I just don't really care for that style of opening. But if that's what you like, that's fine. I understand it. It's exciting sometimes. Basic Baltoy, HP of 70, fighting type, or rock or ground type because of the weakness to grass down here. Pretty basic Baltoy artwork. Its arms look super duper long. Number 343 on the Pokedex, Claydol Pokemon. Height 1 foot 8 inches, weight 47.4 pounds. It's got the attack continuous spin. For a fighting energy, does 30 times. It has flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 30 damage for each head. So there's somebody in the universe who's still spinning and hasn't been able to flip a tails and is just continuously spinning and is doing infinite damage right now. Weakness to grass ×2, no resistance, retreat for 2. Pokedex entry says, it moves while spinning around on its single foot. Some Baltoy have been seen spinning on their heads. Illustration by Tomomi Ozaki. J-Block, Chaos Rising, English, 046 out of 086 common. Those are dangerous attacks you don't want to be careful of because you don't want to get stuck in an infinite loop in this life. Pet Rat, Birdmite. We've read them. We don't need to read them again. That's the great thing about reading them. Metang. This is Adversity Policy. This is a Pokemon tool. It's a trainer Pokemon tool. It says, if the Pokemon this card is attached to has weakness to your opponent's active Pokemon's type, is in the active spot, and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, even if this Pokemon is knocked out, draw 3 cards. So a lot of things that you have to check off to get the 3 cards. But, you know, it's one of those things where you go, I'm fighting against this guy who is my opposite, right? I'm playing a grass deck, he's playing a fire deck. I'm going to use Adversity Policy to be able to draw those 3 cards and hopefully take a little bit of an advantage over him. Pokemon tool rule is you may attach any number of Pokemon tools to your Pokemon during your turn. You may attach only 1 Pokemon tool to each Pokemon and it stays attached. Illustration Ayaka Yoshida. J-Block, Chaos Rising, English, 074 out of 086 uncommon. Okay, there's the Deoxys. We read it, so we don't need to read it again. That's a great thing. Great Hall Net. This is a trainer. It's an item. It says choose 1 or both. Shuffle up to 3 water Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. That's good. Or shuffle up to 3 basic water energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. Or both. You can choose both. So you can shovel 6 freaking cards into your deck. That's insane. God, it should just be like, choose 1. Choose 1 or both. Shovel up to 3 Pokemon. It doesn't even have to be 3. It could be 1 or 2. And you get shuffle up to between 1 and 3 energy cards back in your deck. This card is broke. This card is so strong. Like, what the heck? It's an item card that lets you shuffle 6 cards back into your deck. So strong. Pokemon item rule is you may play any number of item cards during your turn. Illustration by Toasty Beach, J-Bot Chaos Rising English, 078 out of 086, uncommon. Here's the Transformation Tomb. Transformation Tomb is a trainer, it's an item. It says you must play 2 Transformation Tomb cards at once. This effect works 1 time for 2 cards, so you need 2 tombs. It says choose a basic Pokemon in your discard pile and switch it with one of your basic Pokemon in play. Any attached cards, damage counters, special conditions, turns and plays, and any other effects remain on the new Pokemon. Really good. It's an item card that gets you back the Pokemon you want. Turns in play, so that means if it's a basic Pokemon that you don't want, like let's just say it's like a Pheasantipity or something that you can't use right now and you need to evolve into your stage 2 and you have the rare candy in your hand, or if you're playing a grass deck and you go boom, Transformation Tomb, I played 2 of them, I'm getting back this basic, I'm evolving, boom boom boom. It's good. These types of cards are good. They're looked over and people don't play them like they should. We've had supporters that do this effect. This Transformation Tomb is a little tricky because you need 2 of them, but it's not going to be hard to get 2 of them into your hand. And being able to use it as an item card is very strong because then you can play a supporter card. It's so good. I'm sure Transformation Tomb will see a lot of play. You may play any number of item cards during your turn. Illustration by Toasted Beach, J-Block Chaos Rising English, 083 out of 086, uncommon. Seems very good. Quillfish, basic, HP of 90, dark type, number 211 in the Pokedex, balloon Pokemon, height 1 foot 8 inches, weight 8.6 pounds, ability Poison Point. If this Pokemon is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, even if this Pokemon is knocked out, the attacking Pokemon is now poisoned. So you attack into it, you get poisoned. I think that is a great effect, especially for decks that need you to be poisoned. Venoshock is a dark energy for 30 plus. It says your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned. This attack, if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, this attack does 50 more damage. So it's 80 damage just for that trigger. It's very, very good. We see this in the Crobat Build and Battle deck. It's very strong. There's ways of getting around it because you don't have to deal damage to it in the Build and Battles. But it's still something you gotta be careful of. Weakness to fighting times 2, no resistance, retreat for 1. Pokedex entry says, experienced fishers say they try to catch quillfish in brief moments that these Pokemon become defenseless just after launching poisonous spikes. Illustration by Nishimono. J-Block Chaos Rising English, 052 out of 086, common. Oh, Beedrill. Beedrill EX, Stage 2, evolves from Kakuna. HP of 310, grass type or bug type. It's got the attack Rumbling Bees. For grass energy, it is 110 times. This attack does 110 damage for each of your Beedrill and Beedrill EX in play. Dang. So you can have up to 6 Beedrill in play and do 660 damage. That's very, very good. Weakness to fire times 2, no resistance, retreat for 1. Pokedex EX rule, when your Pokemon EX is knocked out, your opponent takes 2 prize cards. I wish I had free retreat. Illustration, Toriuyuf 2, J-Block Chaos Rising English, 003 out of 086, double rare. Beedrill seems strong, so strong. And since Forest of Vitality exists, you can evolve all your Beedrills in 1 turn. It seems so strong. Gosh, that Beedrill is so good. Alright, well, we might have time for 1 more pack. We'll keep this video at an hour. We'll come back to these packs. You can let me know in the comments if you like the way I do these videos, because I like doing them. I think it's really fun to learn. Learning is a huge, fun thing. Chespin, basic, HP of 70, grass type, number 650 in the Pokedex. Spiny Nut Pokemon. Height 1 foot 4 inches, weight 19.8 pounds. Beat for grass energy, 10 damage. Spike Sting for 2 grass energy, 30 damage. Weakness to fire times 2, no resistance, retreat for 2. The quills on its head are usually soft. When it flexes them, the points become so hard and sharp that they can pierce rock. Illustration, Hakan. J-Block, Chaos Rising, English, 005 out of 086. Common. Well, that's a chest pin that we need, because we're definitely building that deck. That deck seems crazy good. Esper, basic, HP of 60, psychic type. Number 677 in the Pokedex. Restraint Pokemon. Height 1 foot. Weight 7.7 pounds. It's got buddy attack. For psychic energy does 10 plus. Says if you played Emma from your hand during this turn, this attack does 60 more damage. Weakness to dark times 2, resistance to fighting minus 30, retreat for 1. Pokedex entry says it keeps its intense psychic powers from leaking out by using its ears to cover the organs emitting the power. Interesting. Well, this is a Sao illustration. Very nice. She's definitely changing up her style. J-Block, Chaos Rising, English, 036 out of 086. Common. I would have never known this is Sao. She does much nicer work than she's been doing recently. Mareep, basic, HP of 70, lightning type. Number 179 in the Pokedex, wool Pokemon. Height 2 feet, weight 17.2 pounds. Its attack is Thunder Wave. For lightning and one of any type does 20 damage. It says flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Weakness to fighting times 2, no resistance, retreat for 2. Pokedex entry says its fluffy coat doubles in size when static electricity builds up. Touching it can be shocking. Illustration, Ukumo Uti. J-Block, Chaos Rising, English, 027 out of 086. Common. Metagross we read. That's another deck I want to build. Roxy's Performance we read. Boom, we don't need to read it. Galosapod. Stage 1, evolves from Wimpod. HP of 140, water type. Number 768 in the Pokedex, hard scale Pokemon. Height 6'7", weight 238.1 pounds. It's got critical slash. For water energy, does 30 damage. It says if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from an effective attack done to this Pokemon. It's very good. It's very hard to get it off. I put it in one of my building battles. I was like, this kind of sucks. But if you can get it off, it's good. Boundless Power is the second attack. It says 3 of any type for 150 damage. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't use attacks. That's why it sucks, because you can't use attacks. You can't even use critical slash or afterwards to knock something out. It's not good. Weakness to lightning times 2, no resistance, retreat for 2. Pokedex entry says it will do anything to win, taking advantage of every opening and finishing opponents off with the small claws on its front legs. Illustration, Takeshi Nakamura. J-Block, Chaos Rising, English, 026 out of 086. Uncommon. Okay, Octillery. This is a stage 1, evolves from Remoraid. HP of 110, water type. Number 224 in the Pokedex, Jet Pokemon. Height 211, weight 62.8 pounds. It's got Jet of Ink. For water energy does 30 damage. It says during your opponent's next turn, if the defending Pokemon tries to use an attack, your opponent flips 2 coins. If either of them is tails, that attack doesn't happen. It's really strong. It's like double confusion, so it's really good. That is a very good attack. Second attack is Tantrum. For water energy and one of any type does 120 damage. This Pokemon is now confused. Jet of Ink I think is strong, and actually I could see it having a place in standard. Honestly, it's so strong. Weakness of lightning times 2, no resistance, retreat for 2. I'm not going to be able to read the Pokedex entry. Illustration by Matazol. J-Block, Chaos Rising, English, 017 out of 086. Common. We read Phantom, so we don't need to read it. Magnetic Metal Energy. This is an energy, it's a special energy, and it says, as long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides metal energy, and it says the metal Pokemon this card is attached to has no retreat cost. So that's broken, so good in metal decks. I don't know if that's crazy useful, but not having a free having a free retreat is always good. As always, happy collecting, good luck in your games, and I will see you next time.